Sir MVP, umpisahan ko po dito sa nangyaring Asian Games sa China. Was that a pleasant surprise? In-expect nyo ba na makaka-gold tayo?
No, not really. Of course, everybody's happy, including myself, to be pleasantly surprised, no, with their performance. Considering that really the team was formed at the very last minute, literally. And it's a tribute to the players, it's a tribute to the coaches, especially Coach Tim, no, for having accomplished what they did, to be champions again after 61 years or so. No? So it's a great achievement, and I think 3 days ago the president honored them with and the other athletes that won in the Asian Games in a parangal at pasasalamat event. No? So that was very nice of him. So you could see he was also very happy with the outcome and the performance of our athletes, especially Gilas.
And speaking of the team, kailan na-desisyonan that it was gonna be Coach Tim na magiging coach po ng Gilas?
Medyo last minute yun eh. Kasi bunga yun ng pag-uusap kay Ramon Ang, no? About soliciting his help and of course the help of his players and Coach Tim, no? And he, it's in many ways it's a product of cooperation between our group and his group in getting this Gilas team composed at the last minute. No? So I hope the other things that we're doing with San Miguel on the business side could also be more effective and produce more benefits to the country and our people as a consequence of that cooperative effort between the two groups. No?
Not to compare, Sir MVP, but was there something that Gilas improved on or changed from its World Cup performance that may have possibly led to better performance in the Asian Games? Ano po sa tingin nyo?
It is clearly a pleasant surprise to win. And, Gilas in the World Cup did not do that badly. We did beat China, I believe, in the World Cup. And it's a tougher tournament because it's a global event. The US was there, and Serbia and Germany and the rest, the heavyweights. Even the past heavyweights like France and Serbia didn't make it, and Spain didn't make it to the Final Four. So, it's a real tough tournament. So in many ways, not the right comparison to make. No?
Pero sir, hindi rin biro yung pinagdaanan natin sa Asian Games. I'm sure nakarating po siguro sa inyo yung mga challenges natin from yung simpleng kulay ng bus, iba, kaya iba yung binababaan natin, mas malayo yung lakad, yung magpa-practice sila, walang bola.
Pero Cheryl, we saw that already in previous stints of Gilas in China. My first encounter was probably I would say maybe 2012, 2013 when we played in, I don't know which city, maybe Wuhan. And kita mo that mahirap yung transportasyon, mahirap yung pagkain. Certain things happen mysteriously that did not augur well for Gilas during that stint. I recall in Changsha in the FIBA Asia qualifier, or was it championship in Changsha, that game with China. I think it was a championship game with China. And we rode with the team on the bus in their hotel to the venue. And when we boarded the bus wouldn't start. It's an e-bus. It's an electric bus. Descarga yung baterya, no? So of course they have to look for another bus, but that meant a 30-40 minute delay to the venue. And then when we got to the venue in Changsha, the basketball net on our side of the court was not properly positioned, di ba? So they had to fix it. So that took another 10-15 minutes. So all sorts of these small but irritating things happened along the way, di ba? So is it deliberate? Is it not deliberate? Is it accidental? We don't know, but we know that it happened. No? And I think in the case of Hangzhou, similar incidents happened, is what I was told. I wasn't there, so in Changsha, I was there in Wuhan. Ayun, but nung natalo na in China, medyo everything went quite well naman.
Oh, yeah. Kaya nga,
So,
bakit parang tayo lang ba?
hindi
Bakit
ko alam.
kakaiba yung bus natin? Yung mga ganun nangyayari. Why sa Gilas? But again, well, we
Kaya mo
got
na,
we got
nanalo
the
na
gold.
tayo.
We
Yeah,
got the
nanalo na tayo.
Opo, we got the gold po.
Oo.
Going back lang po to sa FIBA World Cup. Well, South Sudan, a country that wasn't even a country until a few years ago, beat us sa World Cup. Everybody, even US is saying that everybody is getting better sa basketball. How do we keep up or be among the best? Ano pa po yung nakikita nyo, yung vision nyo pa po sa ating Philippine team sa Gilas Pilipinas?
Well, I don't know what you mean by the best. After the World Cup, I think our ranking moved down, which is a good thing. Like this, I guess it's like a goal score from, I think we were number 41. We now assigned the standards, we're now number 38, so 3 notches better. I think it will take a bit of time. Depends on what you mean the best. But so long as after each World Cup tournament that our rank is dropped, no, we improve. Therefore, in relation to the other countries, certainly not my lifetime will I see them in the top 20. I think so. It will take time, preparation, a lot of things. No, should happen. And but even in the case of World Cup, the final team composition was not complete until at least maybe, or at most maybe 2 weeks before the actual tournament. You don't do that in a tournament like the World Cup. No, you really have to be playing together as a team several months before the World Cup, if not years. No? So it behooves us to do planning already, because I was told that the qualifiers for the 2027, I think, 2027 in Qatar will start in February next year. So again, the question besetting us, sino ba yung sino yung coach, sino yung players, ganun. So, and of course, there's the wild card. I think we're a wild card entry to the qualifier for the Olympics, the last slot, I think, out of, I don't know if it's Asia or out of the world, no? So that's going to be a tough competition. So let's see. And what's your team that you will put in to participate?
Yun yung pinakamalaking challenge natin. Talagang yung mayroon tayong talagang masasabi natin na team.
No,
Kasi,
but Cheryl, I mean, when we put our minds to it, look at the local organizing committee of the World Cup. I thought the arrangements went very well. No complaints from FIBA. Everything went quite well. No?
Yeah.
So if the Filipinos put their minds to a task, especially a national task as the World Cup hosting, we can do very well. We are able to manage our affairs very well. So we can. But you have to have the discipline, right? And the focus that you start early enough to prepare for an event 3 years from today. That will help improve, to your point about how can we become one of the best. Part of it is the preparation. Yeah, frankly, even on these Asian games this year, where we won the gold, I told them many months ago, I told the SBP, look, my advice to you, we should learn our lesson from the 2015 World Cup in Spain. Because after that, the same team went to Korea for the Asian Games that same year, I think sometime in September. The World Cup was in August in Seville, where the city assigned to us, where we were assigned to. And it was the same coach, Coach Chot, and the same players. And they were too tired after Seville, and we said the same. So we performed dismally in 2015. No? So now it's a different coach and a different set of players. But that's what I told him. Form your team now for the Asian Games, maybe not as good as the World Cup team, and prepare already a few months before the Asian Games. But we didn't. So we were fortunate.
Yes.
Coach team was persuaded, and of course the other players were persuaded to pony up. But some of the best were not there. Maybe the lesson is we should not train long enough.
Kanina po na-mention nyo yung suporta ng SMC through Mr. Ang. Isa po yun sa mga pinag-usapan during the FIBA World Cup. Pinanood nyo ang opening next to each other with Mr. Ang.
And the president.
A very rare sight para po sa two titans of business and with rival blocks sa PBA. Can you share us po what brought that about? Yung support po ng SMC Group sa World Cup.
I think it's common sense and a strong sense of patriotism for the country. I think you must give credit to Ramon and to the San Miguel Group for realizing that and accepting that we should transcend these rivalries wherever we are in business or in sports when the common good requires it, when the national interest requires it as well. We should get together, di ba? People are surprised because we have been competing in the past and we have different personalities, right? And but you know, it's in many ways Ramon is a fun person to be with because he's very chatty.
Binati po kayo ni Mr. Ang. Salamat daw po sa lahat ng suporta at nagawa nyo sa Philippine basketball. I read sa isang article, sabi niya, your vision and dedication have been instrumental in shaping the Gilas Pilipinas.
Well, he should get as much credit as he assigns to me for that, no? And for the many people who were involved in that. I was a skeptic with respect to our prospects for the Asian Games, and we started considering the composition of the team. And no, there were many people involved in that decision. On our side, Al Panlilio, Ricky Vargas, and a number of other people from SPP. On his side, it was principally Al Francis, no? Chua. He was very close to Ramon. So it became a joint effort between the two groups, between the team of Ricky and Al Francis on the other side. And it went quite well. And as they say, the rest is history. No? So we should do more of these things. If we get together, as we got together in the hosting, we can do a very good job. An international class event that was hosted quite well by Filipinos. Diba?
So mako-consider nyo ba, Sir MVP, na may newfound friendship kayo? Yung dating rivals, well, nagsasabi na rivals, ngayon ay partners na.
Well, maybe it's just common sense. Common sense that we are probably both late bloomers in realizing that the typical synergy formula, right? If you put 1 and 1 together, you achieve 3 or 10 for the benefit of the country. And we hope we could prove that point to our people. And you know, I'm sure he's open to working with other business groups as we are now. No? We have been in partnership with other business groups here as well.
Now he sits on the board of Metro Pacific Investment Corporation. Ang sinasabi po ay may mga iba pa bang joint ventures? Because yun daw pong entry is reportedly a prelude to the eventual merger of the two groups' toll road business?
Well, napag-uusapan yun between the two groups. So, nothing definitive yet, but there is keen interest on both sides, in part driven by the fact that I think hopefully it will revive interest in our stock market, which I think needs a large company to be listed and a new one to be listed, and a company with significant liquidity from the minorities. Because if you put it to, as and when they're put together in some sort of combination, with government approval, of course, and then it will be a very large company, and eventually when we put in our tollways in Vietnam and Indonesia, it could become an ASEAN kind of tall range company, and large market cap and a significant liquidity for foreign investors to come in and be able to get out if they decide to get out.
Puntahan ko. Let's talk about TV5. Well, it's finally showing good ratings, good numbers. No po, sir, it wasn't easy for us from day one. 13 years na po tayo.
I know.
And it wasn't an easy ride, journey for us. Umabot ba sa point na naisip nyo na mali yata yung decision kong to invest, or yung point na parang you were gonna give up on it?
Well, I'd be dishonest if I didn't think that way, di ba? Miski ano namang engagements you have with the world, there are times when it's so difficult that you just say, is it worth it? It's time to give up, blah, blah, blah. Always.
But why didn't you give up?
Because I think I'm crazy. Yeah, I think I'm insane. So, di ba ganun lang yun eh. Yeah, but media is an important factor in the lives of our people. So, we try to stay there as long as we can. No? I recall in the early days remember those big ad congresses of the principal advertisers and of course the advertising agencies. We were in Naga many, many years ago.
Yes.
The three major TV stations.
Yes.
Although we were very minor at that stage, and Mr. Gozon was there, Gabi Lopez was there, I was there in Naga, the ad congress there, and also the two were sort of there was a panel discussion, and the two were as always arguing who was number one or number two between the two of them. And when the moderator came to me and said, "What do you think, Mr. Pangilinan?" Well, let me just say this. They debate about who's number one. We are the undisputed number three. So that's my starting premise, right? So, yeah. Yes, you have made significant improvements. And I hope you keep it up. Yeah. It makes it easier for us, including myself, to agonize over any decision what to do. No?
But what do we expect? What can we expect? To have a better and larger reach?
Yes, I think we're moving in that direction. I think we have, as you know, we bought some of the transmission towers of ABS to improve our coverage. I think we still have some ways to go, but I think this year we have made significant improvements in coverage. Not equal to GMA yet, but in the next 1 or 2 years we should be substantially equal to them in terms of coverage. In content, of course, they're still ahead of us. They just briefed me about the news, so congratulations. Quite happy with that. And entertainment, we have ABS on 8 to 10 p.m., so they have the prime, and that those are also rating quite well. No? So better than before. So it's encouraging.
A lot better. A lot better. We will continue to work harder. Ayan. Okay, now you're CEO. Ang dami yung trabaho, sir. You're CEO and president of Meralco. Is there a learning curve for you in this new job?
Of course, yeah. I'm not at all a power person as such. Although I was president in 2009, I think. Learned a lot from the people inside. And of course, the industry has changed as well since that time. Yeah, I've been around for only a few months, but I'm learning, no? So from other people here, and but I think Meralco is a company now with an exciting future, because typically a utility company like a power company like Meralco tends to be very boring, no? But I think the future for them on the distribution side with smart meters and distributed grid, the onset of gas plants as a transition fuel, but all the way up to maybe 2040, 2050. The renewables, which are coming to the fore now. And a few other things that Meralco is looking at. E-vehicles is another one, so which I think Meralco should be the thought leader and lead the charge as well in the migration to e-vehicles and the charging stations. We are in the best position to lay out those charging stations. One particular Chinese supplier has told us that they built a new charging unit that can charge a vehicle 1 kilometer per second.
Wow.
So 500 seconds, we have 500 kilometers of charging.
Sir,
So moving on, technology is changing the industry.
yeah. You have telco, media, infra, utilities, sports, food
We don't
also.
reports.
And food.
Food.
Meron
Starting,
pa, sir.
it's quite small.
Oo.
We have to get into that business in a large way. It is a new business for us,
Yes. Agro.
especially commercial farming. Wala kami alam doon eh. Kaya I think we need
why?
help.
Kung sabi nyo nga, wala tayong alam doon, pero
Well, it always makes me sad
invested.
when we import things, particularly the food that we consume, no? The staples that we consume. I think we owe it to our country to allow the Philippines to feed itself, to feed its own people, no? At least with respect to the basics. And I think business should be part of that effort in addressing what we need to import. Like dairy, we import
yes.
at least 90% of our dairy products. I mean, I don't think we can achieve dairy independence as such, but I think we should try to ameliorate that situation by producing more milk and fresh milk in this country. That's our foray into Carmen's Best, which is doing very well. They're running out of milk, so we have to look at investing in existing dairy farms so that we can get the milk. But it has created an ecosystem of small dairy farms around Bae in Laguna, where our principal dairy production is. And so we're helping the folks around the dairy farm we have in Bae. They have their own cows now, and they're supplying milk to us. So, but they've done that in Indonesia, and Malaysia, and Thailand to a degree, and we should learn from them. A nuclear, large commercial farm that will feed into the smaller farms in adjacent areas. No? It will certainly address rural poverty and help address the food situation in this country, because the inflation now is mainly driven by food inflation. Yeah.
So much.
And that's something I think in front of the mind of the president.
Meron pa ba kayong gustong ma-accomplish, Sir MVP? What else? Kasi parang si Yasser Arafat, the late leader of Palestinians, famously said when asked why he was single, that he was married to a woman named Palestine. Ikaw po, are you married to your work?
Well, I'm not married to Palestine. I don't know her. Yeah, in many ways, yes. It's tough because you have to have the right emotional composition to be able to balance life and work, family and work. And I think in that respect, I cannot multitask. I can multitask on my work because in many ways it can be inanimate, right? When you make an investment decision, the human element doesn't emerge that distinctly. No? Of course, when you deal with people inside your organization, you do. But when you have a family, then that's real human engagement, right? With your wife, your kids, and so forth. If any one of them gets sick, you really get worried, and you have to, in many respects, take time off or go home and attend to your sick child. There's a famous story in Hong Kong about the former chairman of HSBC. And he got the call one evening from his wife. And said, just call him Joe, right? Hey, Joe, it's already 8 p.m. Time for supper. Can you please come home? This is the wife talking to the chairman, to her husband. So he said, yeah, I'm about to wrap up, dear, and I'll be home in maybe 30 minutes or so. So please give me time. But Joe, it is a Sunday, if you don't know.
Parang ikaw, sir. You don't like holidays.
But no, there'll be no Palestine to call me.
Meron ka pa bang naiisip? Meron ka pa bang gusto?
An Ateneo Championship this year. Look at Debbie.
All right. But sir, what else do you want to accomplish? That's my last question.
Well, there are many things that are still pending. Many things I'd like for Meralco to do, PLDT to do, the water and tollways, the hospitals and so forth to accomplish before I finally sign off. No? So my guess is that I'll die with my boots on to the peril of my people. Yeah. So that's life. We were born, I was born with a mission. So I can only say yes, sir.
Thank you for your time, Sir MVP.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
How about the turtles?
I know the turtles. I was asking Sir MVP, sabi ko, paborito niyo palang turtles. You have so many turtles.
The origin, the provenance of all these turtles is we typically import a feng shui man from Hong Kong.
Okay.
He does our feng shui in our office in Hong Kong, and so I brought him in because we were fixing my room in PLDT. So went to the room, noticed. Then he said, "Oh, your room is quite open, right? Like this." And I noticed there are buildings that surround the Cohanco building, and they have sharp edges that are pointed at you.
Okay.
The corners of buildings, right? And so you must be able to deflect the bad spirits that emanate from those sharp edges. So, okay, what's the solution? You have to get an animal with a hard carapace, with a hard shell. And so turtles, he said, it's long life, good luck, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, I'll start collecting turtles.
Turtles.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.